did good. Around ages 8 to 9, before visible changes occur.
On that note, cheers.
Cheers!
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 Recording night on Cinco de Mayo. Hence the Coronas.
Without lime, because Matt failed.
Oh, but lime juice in there, though.
Well, lime juice is okay.
It was a rookie
Matt
move,
failed.
folks.
Rookie.
And I'm having wine, but in a fancy glass.
So,
Fancy.
So, I don't know.
We're partying.
There we go.
thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I'm Matt
I'm Amy.
I'm Sarah.
Welcome
to another episode.
of Midwest Married.
Thanks
It's
for
a good
having me
one tonight.
back. I'm excited.
I know, it's been a while.
Been
We were
too long.
We were talking about it. It has been a while.
Mhm.
Life is just busy.
It's been
It's
so
crazy.
busy. So busy.
You've got lots of stuff going on. Your girls
Mhm.
went to state and then nationals
It's like regionals, they call
Regionals?
it, but it's like as far as you can kind of go
for swimming.
for swimming.
And you've been getting your house ready to sell.
Oh, Thursday.
That's super busy.
Mhm.
So thanks for making time for us.
It's good to get away for a little while.
This episode has been inspired by you
Ooh.
because we, of course, share all things parenting.
Mhm.
You know, we're just like in this together. You're part of our village, right? And so recently you came and you were like, guys, I had the talk with
Mhm.
the girls.
I'm pretty sure I talked to you guys before I had
Yeah,
the talk
see,
because
I'm
I needed
thinking-
advice first.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of having the talk with
Yeah.
the girls. And
Yeah.
then you had the talk with
Mhm.
the girls and you
Mhm.
told me how you did it and how you went about it. And for those of you who don't know, Sarah has twin girls and they are 9.
Mm-hmm.
So do we want to... Yeah, so this episode's going to be all about puberty.
Puberty.
The birds
Puberty.
and the bees.
And puberty.
And puberty. And becoming a man or a woman.
Yeah. That's how they always put it when
I
we
know,
were
but,
younger.
but then you're
Isn't
like
that
12 or 10 or,
Or
8 or
9.
9. Or,
I'm like, that's
yeah.
For
not-
some of us, it starts early.
I mean, yes, that
Or
was
late.
your case.
Yeah.
Matt was early, you were late.
I was late.
Right. It's not really, but isn't it funny how like when we were younger, that's always like
Mm-hmm.
how adults put it. Oh, you're becoming a woman. Like,
Mhm.
huh, that's weird. I'm 12.
Yeah. No,
So,
very weird.
Matt, when did
yeah.
you go through puberty?
I had a full mane of chest hair by age 8.
Oh my gosh. Really?
Yeah, probably.
I feel like I need to see a picture of this. I can't even fathom.
No.
I mean, your guy friends, like even to this day, you have friends from high school who still were like, man, you were legendary. You had pit hair when you were in elementary school.
Yeah, super cool.
Oh, all that testosterone you've got floating through your body, Matt.
Well, for boys, like when you mature early, like at least the word on the street for me is like, okay, you're cool
Yeah.
if you go through puberty a little bit or early. Whereas for girls, it's like,
Oh my gosh. Mhm.
nobody wants to.
No, because you don't want to be the first.
No.
No.
Yeah.
But you didn't want to be the last either. I was one of the last because I was young or I was small because I was a gymnast. And so I never had enough body fat.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the first to have your period? Is that what you're
Correct.
shooting
Right.
for?
Correct.
Okay, we don't want that. But you don't
No.
want to be the last.
You don't want to be the last either. Because then also you don't develop like breasts or boobs, you know? And so like you're the one that they called me mosquito bites for years because I didn't have any boobs. Yeah.
There's nothing more Midwest than that.
That's very true. But it was dramatic.
I can imagine.
But you know what? Now they're still perky and I'm okay with it because
There you go.
they're great now.
Okay, so this is what I just looked up. And I had looked up on some other resources, Mayo website as well, after we had talked about you talking with your girls. And we all know the answer now. But prior to this, at what age did your parents talk to you about puberty?
5th grade, because that's when they do it at school. And so they sent home the letter.
Yeah.
And then my mom was like, oh, we should maybe talk about this.
Because how old is 5th grade then?
Oh,
11?
11? Yeah, I was going to say 11, 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Matt, did they talk to you about puberty for you?
Puberty? Not, I don't know if it was the puberty talk, but the birds and the bees and sex and
Did they talk to you
the
about
bits and pieces.
what about like about girls? Did they ever talk to you about what happens to girls? Like, did your parents specifically?
Oh yeah, like when they become aroused, their nipples will become hard.
No.
That was
no,
my
like-
talk.
Oh,
Second grade.
What?
Who?
Yeah.
Who?
Was that like on
My
the
mom
bus?
and Jerry.
Oh, Lord.
No, because it was prompted by me and my friends stealing the Playboys out of the junkyard.
Oh.
I got the
Lord.
full-blown sex talk in second grade. I knew all about it.
Whoa.
What about periods, though?
I'm
Menstrual
not sure.
cycles.
I feel like I blocked a lot of that out.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
So mine was very distinctly, I remember it because I felt like it was a little traumatic
Mhm.
because it was 5th grade-ish. We got the letter home. I gave the letter to my mom and she's like, oh, there's an option where you can take the VHS home in your backpack. You can put it into your little VHS player and you can sit down, just you and your mom, and watch this puberty tape.
Oh my God, no.
Mhm.
So that's what I did. I felt so mortified.
Because
And also,
you chose that option?
no, I didn't. My mom chose it.
Oh.
My mom chose it. I think that honestly, from a mother's perspective, I can see how she thought that it would be the best way to go about it.
Mhm.
I could see that perspective. I think that she was trying to do right by me.
Yeah.
I was just embarrassed
Yeah.
because also, not only if you bring the tape home to watch with your mom and are bright red, beet red the entire time for this entire thing.
Kind of like you are now.
Yes.
kidding.
As part of it, sunburn from our very
Oh.
first sunny day here.
That was beautiful.
It was a beautiful weekend. But you're not allowed to sit with the rest of the class and watch the video. So I was singled out and pulled from class and sent to the library or something. And so everybody was like, oh, she can't watch this sex ed talk.
I'm pretty sure I got to take it home too. I'm pretty sure they gave you that option, but I still did it with the class as well.
Oh, no.
In
Yeah.
What grade?
Fifth grade.
Fourth grade.
Fifth
Yeah.
grade. I still distinctly remember they showed how boobs all are different sizes, but it was all animated. It wasn't real.
Yeah.
They showed all different size boobs and all different size penises. And watching it with your mom is mortifying.
It was mortifying. It was traumatizing.
I don't remember that in my elementary.
No?
I don't recall. And maybe we did have a video about it, but the earliest school type education that I feel like we got was in 7th grade. We watched the birthing video. And
Oh, wow. That's throwing
That's
you in
very
the deep
late.
end. Mhm.
Well, according to multiple resources that I have looked at, the best age to start talking to your children about puberty is age 8 to 9.
Whoop, whoop.
Yes.
Nailed it.
So we got
There we
that
go.
right.
Nailed it. And I wasn't even planning on doing it. It just kind of happened.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So fill us in. How did you bring this in?
Well, so what happened is I was riding my Peloton one day, and my sister, who lives in Phoenix, just happened to be riding her Peloton at the same time.
Uh-huh.
And so you used to be able to sync them. Apparently you can't anymore. I couldn't figure it out. So we were like, well, let's FaceTime Joelle, my sister. And she was talking about her current journey with her periods and how she's thinking about trying a cup or a disc.
Yes.
And she was asking me about it. And I'm like, honestly, I have an IUD, so I know nothing. I've never, those weren't a thing when I've had a period, and I haven't had a period for 11 years, 10 years,
Right.
Yeah. And so the girls overheard us talking about it. So then they were asking, well, what's a period? And I was like, oh, well, we can definitely talk about that. And I will tell you about a period. But we're not going to do it right this second because I felt like I needed to prepare. So
Yes.
then we were hanging out with you guys that night and Krista and Matt, who you guys have seen on the podcast before. And we sat down and I asked everybody's advice. And my biggest question was, okay, if I'm going to have the period talk, do I have the sex talk too? And it was a resounding, yes, you do it both at the same time. So I did it all. And Krista had a really great piece of advice to do it in the car while you're driving, because then you're not looking at each other and staring at each other. It's not so awkward. And so we were going to TJ Maxx one day and I was like, all right, let's have the period talk. And so we talked about periods and estrogen and testosterone and what boys have and what girls have on the way to TJ Maxx. And then we got to the parking lot and I turned around and looked at him and was like, okay, any questions? What do you want to know? What don't you want to know? And I kind of think, luckily for me, so here's maybe a tip that I have. My girls watch a ton of vet shows. And especially some of the vet shows that are talking about cows and like inseminating cows and like, are the cows in
Breeding.
heat and are they ready? And so they kind of had a little bit of like general idea what that kind of meant.
Right.
And so that
How
was helpful.
babies are made.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a general idea. So yeah,
Right.
we talked about all of that and we like made it a game. And I was like, okay, so women have ovaries and ovaries make, and they'd be like estrogen. and I was like, and men have testicles and testicles make testosterone. And so whatever, it was great. And then we went shopping. Stop it. We went shopping
I
at
love
TJ
this
Maxx and
so
Home
much.
Goods, and we had a great time. And then in the car on the way back, I said, okay, now we're going to talk about sex and how babies are made. And they were like, oh, I'm like getting warm just thinking about this because it makes me a little embarrassed. And so I said, exactly what happens. I says, okay, so, two people who really hopefully love each other and care about each other and feel very close to each other, and want to be what we call intimate together. And I kind of explained what happened to the penis and that the penis goes in the vagina and then the men release sperm and semen, and that then if there's not anything in place to prevent pregnancy, there's the chance that the woman becomes pregnant. And they were like deer in headlights. They were like, oh my gosh. So again, had a little bit of a general idea because some of their shows like show animals humping and kind of, doing the thing. But I felt like growing up, I was very like, sex is bad. Sex isn't good. Don't do sex. You
That
should
was
never
the
do
message
that
we received.
until you get married. And I didn't want it to be like this bad, nasty, shameful thing. And so I was very much like, I have sex with your dad and we love each other and we have sex, even though we're not trying to have a baby. And our friends have, sorry, probably threw you guys under the bus. So it was like, Matt and Amy have sex and Matt and Krista have sex, like, because those are their other like
Aunties,
adult
uncles.
relationships, right, that they can see and that they know. And we love each other and we have things in place so that we don't get pregnant. And they were just like, again, like, oh my God. And I asked them very point blank, like, do you have questions or concerns? And they were like, no. And I was like, okay, that's fine. But I was like, if you ever do, you can come to me with any questions. I will never lie to you about this topic. I will always answer any question you have, no matter how like off the wall it is. But if you feel like you can't talk to me, you can talk to Auntie JoJo, so my sister. You can talk to Amy, Auntie Amy. You can talk to Auntie Krista. And they will, be very safe places for you can talk to too. And then I forget which one it was. I think it was June. June goes, well, can we talk to Uncle Matt and Matt about it too? And I was like, yeah, sure. Yep, right ahead. And then I think the other one was like, but I don't really think we ever would. And I was like, that's also fair. But you could. They are safe places. So that was the talk. And they haven't asked me any questions since.
Thanks for the warning. Now I
I
know.
told you this before, didn't
Did you
I?
tell me
Yes.
that? No.
Yes.
I missed it.
Oh, you missed it.
Were we
Oh.
drinking?
We probably
Oh, boy.
were.
So let me tell you a few things according to my research that you did correctly.
Okay,
Amy
let's hear
and
it.
her research.
I know.
love it.
And because I did my little scouring of my sources according to Mayo Clinic, and then a few multiple counseling sources like family therapy kind of sources, identified that if you speak to them early between the ages of 8 and 9 regarding puberty and sex, actually kids are bound to have less embarrassment surrounding the topic
Oh, good.
versus if you were to wait until they were further along in the process and closer to puberty. Hormones are raging, moods up and down. I mean, I sometimes think already, I feel like, whoa, there's some mood swings going on, right?
For sure.
So a little less embarrassment. Number 2, you approached it in an age appropriate way where it was very anatomical. That's another piece of advice that I read a lot, that multiple sources cited, that it's, you're not going at it maybe from the talk that you got when you were in second grade about the nipples getting, I don't know, aroused, took a very like anatomical, physiological,
Almost felt like medical. I went in from like a medical, medical point of view.
Ovaries make estrogen, testicles make testosterone. The penis is inserted into the vagina and semen is released.
Yep.
Right? Like, okay, this is like the bare bones of kind of what
Very bare
happens,
bones. Very
right?
bare bones. We didn't get too graphic.
Yes. So they all said that was supposed to be how you were supposed to do it.
I would have if they had asked questions, but they didn't.
Right.
Which I was glad.
So
But I would have.
the average rate or the average age of girls getting their periods are like 9 to 12. It's been, especially as the years have gone on, and we don't totally know why. They think maybe rising rates of obesity contribute to it, but the age that girls hit puberty has become earlier and earlier.
And don't they say like growth factors in food and like the
Right.
animals that we're eating too?
And
Like they're putting stuff in the food.
Yep.
And we're like, perhaps microplastics. This is speculation. We don't totally know the answer why.
Mhm.
There are like theories out there, right? It's not a solid, this is why it's happening. But there could be multiple reasons why it's happening. What we just know is that girls are maturing at earlier rates.
Is that true for boys too? Did you find that?
I'm not totally sure about boys.
Yeah, me neither. I hear
To
a
be
lot
quite
for
honest.
girls, but not so much
would-
for boys.
Believe it, but I'm not totally sure.
Mhm.
But early conversations reduce anxiety, promote body positivity, and encourage open communication so that they are more likely to come back and ask you questions.
Yes.
And Matt is now itching to get to a story.
I know. I'm like, we need a story. This is a little heavy to start, folks. I don't know.
think it's okay.
I think it's
you
good.
did good.
Oh,
We
good.
had to, you inspired the episode. This is why we're talking about the episode.
Yes.
And there's going to be some stories about all that.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, on to the first story.
All right.
Ready.
Am I the asshole for not telling my boyfriend about his daughter starting her period and giving her my doll? I'm a 29-year-old female. Boyfriend is 34 male. He has an 11-year-old daughter with his ex. He usually has his daughter 3 weekends a month during the school year, but his ex is currently on vacation in Japan. So his daughter has been with him for the past 2 weeks. The weather has been really warming up where we live, and one of my friends opened her pool for the year this weekend. My boyfriend's daughter loves swimming. I told her on Thursday that we could go swimming on Saturday, and she was ecstatic. Saturday rolls around, and she stayed in bed all morning looking miserable. My boyfriend took her temp, and she didn't have a fever. She just told him she, quote, doesn't feel like going anywhere, and asked to be left alone. It didn't seem like she was sick, and she had been so excited about swimming earlier in the week, so I knocked on her door later in the day, Saturday, to ask her if something had happened at school that upset her or if there is anything going on that she wants to talk about. She initially told me no, but she was tearing up. Then she made me promise not to tell her dad, which I agreed to. She told me she had started her period, was in a lot of pain, and was using toilet paper as a makeshift pad.
Oh, poor
Even with,
Peanut.
I know. Even with my assurances that starting your period is nothing to be embarrassed about, she still didn't want me to tell her dad. I ran to the store to get her some different pad options, a heating pad, and some chocolate. Good
Oh,
job.
No kidding.
That's great. As promised, I didn't tell her dad. I just said I was running to the store to grab some snacks for myself and his daughter. His daughter continued to have bad cramps, even with the heating pad, so I gave her 2 Midol tablets. About 90 minutes later, she was feeling a lot better. I gave her 2 additional Midol tablets when she woke up the next morning with cramps. My boyfriend's ex returned from vacation late in the day on Sunday, yesterday. His daughter had no issues with her mom knowing about starting her period, and if she had been in town, his daughter would have called her. The only reason I got involved is because her mom wasn't there and she didn't want her dad to know. I knew his daughter would tell her mom once she was back, so it was just a day and a half of me helping and not telling my boyfriend. I figured if his daughter's mom thought my boyfriend should know, then her mom should be the one to tell him, as I made a promise to his daughter not to tell. This morning, my boyfriend's ex told my boyfriend what happened, and he called me after speaking to her. He's furious with me for not telling him about what he called a medical condition and for giving his daughter over-the-counter medications without his approval. I told him I wanted his daughter to be able to trust me so she will be comfortable coming to me in the future with things she might be embarrassed to tell her dad about. I also told him that if there was something going on that required medical attention, I absolutely would have told him, but this was just starting her period. He's still pissed, mainly about me giving her the Midol. I don't think I'm the asshole here, but I also have no kids of my own, and I am starting to doubt myself because maybe from the perspective of people who are parents, I really messed up this situation. Am I the asshole?
Isn't over the counter like Advil? Like you can just go and...
Yeah, what is all in
so
Midol?
So it's actually Tylenol, caffeine, which provides energy and alertness, also helps with headaches, and something called pyrilamine maleate, which is an antihistamine that helps relieve bloating, water retention, and other menstrual symptoms. So,
I need some of that.
Yeah, I need that every day.
I mean, I'm actually surprised it doesn't have ibuprofen because ibuprofen inhibits prostaglandins.
You would think that'd be
which
better.
is better for cramping. But
Yeah. No, I think she rocked it.
All right,
I
take it
think,
away.
I think she did a great job. Like, who wouldn't be really proud to have a woman in their life where their daughter felt comfortable enough to talk to them and confide in them, and then also like take the initiative to take care of the situation. I think there's a lot of people out there that would just be like, ooh, I don't want to step on toes. I don't want to make people upset, and then not have helped her as much as she did. And she knew that the mom was coming and that the daughter would talk to the mom about it. But this poor girl was in like a super vulnerable spot and maybe would have just sat there all weekend and continued to use toilet paper, which if you're a woman out there and have tried to do that, that just does not work.
it's
and
not
it is
comfortable. And if you're bleeding heavily, it doesn't
could cause
work.
problems, and like you could get irritated or even like infections and yuck. I mean, yeah, I think she killed it. Like I can see where the dad's coming from and why he feels a little bit hurt and left out. Like I get that, but it's not like she gave her like some heavy duty drug. It was a little Tylenol with caffeine in it. Like I think it's okay. That's my initial reaction. I could see where the dad is coming from. I do get that, but I think she killed it. I think she did a great job.
If you were the mom of this girl and you weren't able to be there for your daughter, would you hope that there was another woman out there looking after her?
100%. But I sometimes think that like dads and guys just don't get it. Like I remember when I got my first period and then we lived on a lake. And so I wanted to go swimming. And my dad, the whole way walking down to the lake, was like looking at me like, because he knew that I had gotten it. And he was like looking at me and I'm like, Dad, it's okay. It's okay.
Fine.
I have something to take care of it. It's fine. And
Yes.
so I don't know if like sometimes guys think it's like a bigger deal and they, want to know so they can make sure everything's okay. But yeah, I don't know.
Or maybe they just haven't had the education on it. Like Matt,
Maybe that it's not a big deal.
Who's like, when did I know about periods? I don't know if anybody ever talked to me as a boy about periods.
Yeah.
I'm sure I got that during the
school.
overall
Maybe.
second grade talk.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But you can't remember it. So, I mean,
I don't know.
it
It's
wasn't
just-
a repeated conversation that was like, yeah, I always knew about periods. I knew exactly how they worked. I knew
Didn't need to.
how to help a girl if she was in a pickle with her period.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I didn't need to.
We're gonna put a pin in that because I'm gonna go back to that specific question. Moving on to the more of this story, Matt. What are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. She did everything right, and I don't. The story didn't make it clear if the actual biological mother was upset about it. It's just that the husband was upset that the Midol was given to his daughter. And in my brain, I'm like, well, fuck, it wasn't oxycodone or, a Lortab or something. Big deal. It's a Midol. Whoop-de-doo. That's what it's for. It's for period cramps and the whole deal. So thank you. My daughter wasn't comfortable enough coming to me with this information. I'm glad that she feels so close to you to go and do that. Now, does that reflect on my relationship with my daughter if that's a fact? Like, I don't know. But hey, I'm glad you took care of it and I'll work on it. And then, go ahead.
Well, I was just say, I don't think a lot of 11-year-old girls would feel comfortable going to any male about that, whether they have a super, super open relationship or not. I mean, I think they're always going to feel more comfortable going to a female. Probably. I'm sure that's not true of everybody, but I'm sure for the majority of people, it probably is.
Probably.
And then on the other side of it, I'll just say this is, okay, maybe said girlfriend should have been like, hey, I just want you to know everything's all right. She just has her period, but you can't say anything.
Yeah.
And then if it comes out that he, can't keep his mouth shut or is
She's
acting
broken
weird,
her trust.
and then it's trust broken, and that's not great.
I have two thoughts. Okay, I'm going to dive in here. I'm going to play Matt's favorite position, devil's advocate
Do
here. Okay. Yes, Tylenol is over the counter. However, what if dad, right after girlfriend gave her Midol, what if dad came with regular Tylenol and now they're overdosing her on Tylenol? People can overdose on over-the-counter medications like Tylenol. It is possible.
Like, how much Tylenol do you have to take to overdose? Like, honestly, a bottle?
More than 4,000 grams a day.
Well, that would just be like more than your recommended
Milligrams.
dose. To actually overdose on it, though, would probably be a lot
It
more.
would probably be a lot more, right? But still, as a parent, like, okay, I can see
as a
how you
child.
would want to know if medicine were to be given to your child. However, you very well could be, hey, she isn't feeling well. This is indicated for her age. Are you okay if I just give this to her? Because I think it's going to help her symptoms, right? Like getting that parental consent.
Even I know what Midol's for.
Well, no, you don't.
But no, if you
could tell them, hey, this is what's in it. I have this medication. You don't even have to call it Midol. Who knows what's in Midol?
You're going about it weird.
Tylenol and caffeine. Hey, I've got this Tylenol caffeine over-the-counter pain reliever.
What's that called?
Tylenol caffeine.
It's ridiculous. It is.
That's not going to happen. So devil's advocate. Okay. I could see a little bit where he's like, I should have known about medicine, even over the counter being given to my 11-year-old. Okay.
For once, the women might actually have my back on this episode.
I'm not saying that she shouldn't have given it to her. I'm glad that she did. I'm just saying that you got to be creative then in how do you preserve that person's trust while taking the best care of her. Also, for the second part, she doesn't say how much she was like, periods are really normal. Your dad is going to understand. I think it would be best if he knew, if you get her buy-in, is it okay if I just tell him so that, I think it's in your best interest that we tell him to, like, you don't even have to be there. You don't have to see him the rest of the weekend. But, can I just let him know this is why you're not feeling well? Because I think he's getting worried about you and he might ship you off to the hospital, right? Like, if you're not getting better, he might take you into that clinic. So that might be a way to encourage her to have that open conversation with her dad. And maybe also, like, bridge that gap in that relationship and be like, your dad's going to be okay. It's okay for your dad to know. So
I think that's a great idea. But I do think that a point that Matt brought up about, like, you could have still told the dad and be like, hey, she's, in a bit of a fragile place right now. She didn't want me to tell you. I mean, I don't know how many times my girls are like, don't tell anybody about this. But I'm like, right. I'm still going to tell your dad, like, you're not going to keep secrets, and we don't keep secrets and things like that. And so I think there was also maybe a way that the girlfriend could have talked to the dad about it too, and just been like, but you can't say anything. Like, if you value my relationship with your daughter, she can't know that you know. But this is what's going on. I think that's also fair.
I've prejudged the dad. I don't think he is very trustworthy. And my opinion of said dad isn't real great, to be honest.
You think girlfriend did the absolute best thing, not the asshole. Well, overall vote, not the asshole. Thus far, this is a post that's 2 weeks old. Top comment, not the asshole. I had a similar scenario with my ex-husband, except that my stepdaughter was able to call her mom from school, who then called me to fill me in and ask me to go over any questions she had about the products I'd already stashed in a just-in-case basket in her closet. That's smart. In that call, her mom said that she didn't want her dad or brothers to know yet, so I agreed not to tell them. All good. 3 months later, my ex was in my stepdaughter's bathroom and saw her supplies. He was hurt. No one had told him, so I just talked to him about the feelings she was likely experiencing. I thought he understood, but then he point blank asked her about it at dinner in front of her brothers. Oh, no. Only then did he understand.
Visceral reaction.
She'd turned bright red, started crying, and ran away as her brothers taunted her. It seriously pissed me off all around.
I could only hope that there was a woman like this in my girl's life if I wasn't there.
Yeah.
To help.
Response, see, this is why girls don't want their dads knowing. However, what if more dads hung out with wives and friends and just talked about periods
Yep.
Normal things, puberty. Like, hey, you're going to be prepared for this. You're going to feel more open about this.
Mhm.
Like, it's, I can imagine, not a very common conversation that you have with your guy friends. Hey, my wife's on her period right now. I got her the, this kind of pad with wings, or now there's a Diva cup, or now there's a such and such.
Or I bought her some wine and some chocolate. Might be more appropriate.
I'm going to be real
Sounds more.
honest. We are of the era, or maybe it's our age.
Mm-hmm.
My friends and their wives don't have periods. They're the thing of the past.
IUDs.
It's kind of true.
Thank you, God.
Thank
for
you,
IUDs.
IUDs.
I don't know. It's just, we don't sit around as a group of guys.
But even
and
prior
talk
to that,
about
you weren't talking about that.
No, but I think when we get together as couples, which we do often,
Mm-hmm.
just the other night, 2 nights ago, right? Yeah, 2 nights
nights
ago. We had a lovely roundtable conversation about birthing stories.
Oh, yeah.
That was neat.
Mm-hmm.
It was good.
We did.
It was wild. I learned some things. Shoulder deep, doing a swirl inside.
Retained placenta. That
Yeah.
was
Well, yes,
not
you have to stop hemorrhaging.
Gotta stop
So-
hemorrhaging.
I learned
That's
a
what
lot
happens.
of things.
Right?
It was good.
I mean, there's some funny comments here.
Let's hear 'em.
Meanwhile, my huge dad, who took a photo of the pads that I needed on his digital camera in 2007,
Yes.
went down the street to Walgreens while I waited on the toilet and showed them to the cashier, proudly proclaiming, "I need these. They're for me. Where do you keep them?"
Oh, I love that. Good job, Dad.
Then he yelled, "Live ammo," and hurled it into the bathroom. My dad was hilarious enough about mine without making it about me that I never had an issue or felt embarrassed. My mom, however, acted like it was a secret and no one was supposed to know that vaginas did vagina stuff.
Oh.
So that's a little bit like why, like from the get-go, I was really hoping to be, again, more body positive with my kids, because I did feel that secrecy, like whenever you have a tampon and you need to share it, you're like secretly like very just
shove it up your sleeve and like walk to the bathroom.
it's like you've got marijuana in your pocket.
Right.
You don't want
It should
anybody to
not
know
be that way.
right? Like,
Mm-mm.
and if you have to tear a pad off in the bathroom, you're like, you try to do it so slow so nobody can hear the sound of it like coming off of the wrapper.
You're in a bathroom with women.
I know.
But it's still a secret.
It's still a secret. Shocker.
Right?
Everybody gets their period.
I know.
The
So
women.
So this is from the very young age. We followed the whole recommendations of when the kids are babies, when they're toddlers, you talk about private parts in anatomical terms. Vaginas are vaginas, vulvas are vulvas, penises are penises. Like that is it. You don't call them anything else, right?
Right.
So we did that. Also, toddlers have zero sense of privacy whatsoever. And so they often would come into the bathroom because we live in an 850 square foot house with one bathroom. And so if I'm in the bathroom, oftentimes there was a toddler with me. And after I had Emmett, I did have periods for a little while there. And they would see when you stand up that there's blood in the toilet bowl. And there were like the first few times, the kids actually got very concerned because they knew what blood was, even if they were a toddler, right? And even
Blood
if they
is
were
bad.
young. Yeah. And they were, "Mom, are you okay?" And I would just said, yes, that's Mom has her period right now. It's normal. It's natural. It's not scary. It's okay. And they would be like, "Oh, okay." So that was actually a few years ago. And now I was inspired by you.
Yay.
And the other night, Emmett was in bed. Eloise had a little bit of a rough time. She wanted some mommy time. It was just me and Eloise at home. Matt, you were gone, having a guy's night or something. And so we were snuggled up in bed and we were having a reading night. We were reading a bunch of books. And it just felt very like natural for us just being like sitting next to each other, not really looking at each other, just having some bonding girl time. And I just said, "Do you know what a period is?" And she kind of surprised me. She's 8, just turned 8. And she said, "Yeah, I know. I think I know what a period is." And I said, "Oh, what do you think a period is?" And
It's a dot that goes at the end of a sentence.
that would have been funny.
Don't worry, I'm over here. I got it. That would have been funny.
No, she said, "Well, it's when you pee blood."
Oh, well.
And I was like, that makes sense from what like her life experience has been with that, because I didn't clarify. And I was like, well, kind of. And then approached it in a very similar way, using anatomical terms, explaining exactly what happens. And then I did also find that it was very natural to have the sex talk along with it, because you're explaining, well, your body in preparation for pregnancy releases 1 egg every month.
Sometimes 2. Or 1 splits.
There you go. We didn't go into that detail. Twins.
I did, because I have twins.
There you
so they
go.
needed to know.
They did. They need to understand.
How is there
that.
2, Mom?
Eloise didn't ask that question, but she did then ask, because she got scared of me being like, well, when there's no pregnancy, your body gets rid of the lining of the uterus, along with the egg. And she says, but what if I get pregnant? Because then I was like, oh, okay, I got to talk about how pregnancy happens, because she was thinking that she was going to be the next Mother Mary. Spontaneous
Immaculate
pregnancy.
conception.
Exactly.
I could see where that would go.
Yes. And she had no embarrassment. She was just very like open with her questions. And so, we had the very, very medical version of this is what happens during sex. And she goes, gross.
I know, my girls said gross too. That was their exact words. They were like, Mom, that's so gross. Yeah. And I was like, well, your dad and I have sex. Yeah. Probably not as often as he would like, but we do.
So funny.
Cheers to that.
So we are going to,
Matt has a comment.
Sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
Somewhere in your ramblings there, you triggered a very personal story with periods and tampons going to the store.
Let's hear it.
I have a good friend, Curtis.
I feel like I've met Curtis.
Yeah.
He was in your wedding, right?
He was.
Yeah.
And we weren't able to drive at this point, so we had to be 14, 15 at the time, and we went down to the cities, and we went to a Ja Rule concert.
No.
Yeah.
What's my motherfucking name?
R-U-L-E.
Yep.
Yes.
Nailed it.
With J-Lo, right?
Yep.
I'm with it.
So we went to the Ja Rule concert. We got done. We went back. We're at the hotel. My mom had driven us down, and my mom's like, she's like, I need you boys to go to the store for me. I need you to get me Tampax. I was like, and I'm not sure at the time, like thinking back, like, did I know what I was going in to get? But anyways,
I hope you walked up to the cast
we
register.
walked in Minneapolis and went into some convenience type store that was not, it was bad area of town.
I can imagine.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there was like 15, 20 guys hanging out in the convenience store. And we walk up with these like 2 or 3 boxes of Tampax.
Because you didn't know what to do or what to get, I'm sure.
Yeah, right?
That's when the picture comes in handy on the digital camera.
We got razzed so bad by these guys. Oh, which one is the heavy bleeder?
See, that shouldn't be.
It's so what's wrong with this world? You should have turned around and been like, we have some hot ladies back at the room that need these, and we are being men and going to get it for them. That's what you should have done.
I'm pretty sure we would have been murdered.
Maybe. But shame on those men.
Anyways, what you got?
Next story.
So a little bit different style this time, but I personally like to find other experts on Instagram, and I like to follow them, whether they are family counselors or just, after looking at their content, people that I feel like they come from a real solid scientific place. This is from Instagram. This is a person I follow who a lot of times puts like scenarios in my brain that they don't just happen there, right? Like I feel like it's helpful in parenting. And the account is called Nurtured First. Okay.
So I don't think I follow this one. Let's hear it.
All right. Yes. So imagine being 9. You're a boy and won't get your period, but your parents teach you what a period is anyway. Your parents have talked to you about this many times. When you were little, you'd even sometimes see your mom change her pad when you went to the washroom with her. Nothing about this phases you. You know it's normal. One day at school, you see a girl in your class with a big round spot of blood on the back of her pants. You suddenly remember what your parents said. If you ever see someone leaking blood and they don't know, offer your sweatshirt to tie around her waist and very quietly let her know. Don't make it a big deal because you don't want to embarrass her.
That gave me the chills.
I know, right? Mm-hmm. You take off your sweater, you put it in your hand, you go up to your peer on the playground. Hey, I noticed you have a spot of blood on your pants. Here's my sweater if you want it. That's all you say. Mm-hmm. The girl says thank you. She asks to go to the bathroom and she wears your sweater around her waist for the rest of the day. The next day, she leaves the sweater on your hook with a little note saying thank you. You're a really good friend. You feel proud of the way that you helped her out. What she didn't say in that note is the way you helped her that day would stick with her for life. And how many years later, as an adult with her own sons, she would tell them the story of what you did that day and encourage them to be like you. So parents, talk to your sons about periods. Mm-hmm. This is how we take away the stigma and awkwardness that often comes up with this topic. It also equips them to be a good friend, a good partner, and eventually, if they choose, a good dad who can have these conversations with his own kids.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
So that gave me the chills a little bit too.
Me too.
Because how often are little girls either getting their first periods or maybe it's one of their first periods? There's a learning curve as far as like figuring it out.
Oh, hell, I was in college and that happened to me once.
Yeah.
It happens.
And it's embarrassing.
Sneaks up on you.
And if you don't have anything, then what do you do? Mm-hmm. So I would be so proud if my little boy did that and brought his sweatshirt and was just like, here you go. You can tie it around your waist. No one has to know. You can just keep it with you until you get to the nurse's office or the locker for your extra clothes or whatever. So like that, I feel like that is why, that's one reason why talking to your sons about periods can be just as important, because then they can be an ally to little girls who are going through something that can feel big. And you can, why not us as just humans in general just support each other?
So I was trying to think, like, what's the boy equivalent? Like, if we were going to talk to our girls then, like, what would our boy equivalent to this be? Like, voice cracking? Or, like, I know, like, sometimes boys can get erections, like, dancing.
Spontaneously?
Like, I remember dancing with a kid in middle school, and it was, like, a slow song, and it was like, oh, goodness. And he got raised, like real boys were mean to him, like other boys. Like what? I don't, like how could you do?
Like,
there's not really much you can do there, but I don't know. Like, is there an equivalent?
Erections are normal, I guess. Like,
right. So
like,
how do we make it normal?
Especially at that age, like you really never been that close in proximity with females.
So what could we do as females to make that less awkward?
Maybe just not tease.
But it wasn't the talking females, it was the boys.
Yeah.
It was the other boys.
I'm not sure. No, I don't know.
But maybe the girls could have been like, it's natural.
Yeah.
It's too bad I'm hot. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. Like, how did he have... How did the other boys, like, notice?
Was it just dress pants and very obvious?
Yeah.
He had a tent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
right.
It wasn't like just a little hard. It was like, hello.
Yeah. Okay.
It was like, we got
large
back
and
up.
in charge up
It's the song, right? We could sing the song. Step back, you're dancing kind of close. Right?
Nobody ever taught him the trick.
What's the trick?
Flip it up underneath the belt.
Oh, no.
Okay. Well, there's a parenting
There's the parenting advice. Make sure you tell them to flip it up under the belt.
If you're wearing dress pants, you got to do something with it.
I don't know.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yep. There you go. So when I talked to Eloise, a little bit also then, changes happen for boys too. It's a little later than girls. They also get hair underneath their arms, in their private area.
Look at your dad. Just look at your dad.
Oh my gosh. So funny. Listen to this though. Okay. So by the end of this, I knew that it was I also talked about their voice changing. I knew it was a very positive conversation because she was like, I think having my period will be fun. Oh. And I was like, well, that's great. You think that.
Way to go.
Okay.
You really sold that one.
I'm not going to burst your bubble there. But then she also went like, I'm so glad I'm a girl because I don't want to get hair all over my chest like dad.
Oh, that's good.
So
There
we go. There's her take after the puberty talk. Periods are going to be fun, and she doesn't want a hairy chest. So
me neither.
I don't know.
Neither, girlfriend.
I don't know. I like your hairy chest.
I like men with hairy chests.
It's good.
My hubby has a hairy chest. Not as hairy as your chest, but
Okay, so we're talking about boys. Here,
Okay.
let's switch gears.
Let's switch
Another
gears.
story, or you got one more thing?
Nope.
Am I the asshole for supporting my son grooming himself when my wife says he's too young? My wife, 39 female, and I, 41 male, have a 13-year-old son who recently came to me with a personal question. Was it okay for him to shave down there? I was surprised but stayed calm.
13?
I told him it was normal to want to feel clean or tidy and that body grooming is a personal choice. I made sure he wasn't feeling pressured by anyone and reminded him hygiene and safety come first. He asked if I could help him get a trimmer. I said yes. Later that night, I told my wife, thinking she'd appreciate how open he felt with me. Instead, she was upset. She said 13 is too young to be thinking about that, and that I was encouraging adult behavior. I told her it's not inherently sexual, it's about body comfort and ownership, and if we don't make it taboo, he'll be more likely to come to us about things in the future. She strongly disagreed and said I should have waited until they could both be present to talk about it. I explained it was a private moment between a father and son, and I didn't want to shame him or make him feel weird about asking. She said I went behind her back. This led to a bigger argument. She started questioning how we handle other topics like body image, puberty, screen time. She asked me to return the trimmer. I said no. I told her we need to be aligned, but I won't punish our son for being open and responsible. To be completely clear, we've always been open about bodies and development, but this seems to have triggered something deeper in her. She comes from a more conservative upbringing and has always been a bit anxious about our son growing up too fast. Since then, she's been cold with both of us. She told me she feels undermined. Our son has picked up on the tension and now feels awkward even talking about normal hygiene stuff. We're now in a bit of a standoff. I've tried to bring it up gently, suggesting that we talk to a therapist together about how we approach puberty topics, but she thinks I'm being too dramatic. Her sister, who has older teens, told her I did the right thing and that this isn't a big deal. But my wife thinks that's just modern parenting gone too far. So now I'm wondering, am I the asshole for supporting our son in a private grooming choice without looping my wife in first? Is she the asshole for reacting this strongly and creating shame around something that could have been handled with less drama? For what it's worth, I also told our son that if he ever feels uncomfortable or unsure about any body stuff, he can talk to either of us and that we both love him no matter what.
I'm glad he threw that in there, but that's not what she's portraying with this whole situation.
Nope.
I mean, he's definitely the bigger person here.
She's the asshole.
For sure. Do you have more to say about that?
Oh, I mean, I could go. I got
Go
lots
for
to
it.
say. on this, sorry.
You as the male of the group. What do you think?
Adjust my headphones here.
Let's hear it.
I mean, I guess my question is, when did you have your first, I was going to say sexual experience, but makeout session?
That's a heavy question. Makeout session?
Yeah.
I couldn't drive, so I had to have been, 14, 15?
All right.
Yeah.
Me? Probably 15-ish. It was on my mom's birthday. I do remember that. It was at Clara's house.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Do you remember yours?
13, Black Bear Casino.
Of course.
Jen.
Nice. Hi, Jen.
Hey, Jen.
Right. So, I mean, kids are going to do whatever they're going to do. So, the whole body hair thing, I have had hair down there for well before I was 13. So to go and take care of it, whatever. And I don't know, what age I started manscaping, if you will. I think that at least for people near our age, we had American Pie. And part of that
I don't know if I've seen it.
that movie scene was like the Jason Biggs, I think. His character Jim, Stifler's like, you need to shave down there. Like it makes it 2 to 3 inches bigger.
Yes, I do remember that scene now.
Right? And then
So was that the revolution of all the boys shaving their pubic hair?
I don't know, maybe.
That's what started it for you?
But I probably around that time,
Okay.
like I also was like, okay, or probably around the 13 age mark, you're starting to think like, oh, like how far can I, go here? And if they're going to go down there, I'd like it to be enjoyable for them. As I got older, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to go down on a girl, I don't want to go down and munch on a bush.
Oh no, this is taking a turn.
Let me rewind that. As I got older, let me rewind. I'm serious. So like this,
I get it.
I know, but I feel like that might be an inside thought,
and I know
not
that
an internet thought.
I know like the bush is coming back, but I just thought like from a hygiene standpoint, and like if a girl is gonna give me a blowjob, I just felt like it'd be better for them to be well trimmed down there.
Yeah.
You were hoping for it.
That's fair.
All right. So can we keep that in the episode?
I mean, that's kind of funny. That's kind of okay. So ready for TMI about Sarah? So high school, like my friends, we didn't talk about grooming down there.
Mine didn't either.
And I very distinctly remember going to college, and I always like trimmed and like it was clean. But I remember going to college and like one of my friends, because you get like community showers, right? Was like, what do you got going on down there? Because I still had hair. And like nobody else did. And I was like, I didn't realize.
Nobody filled me in.
I was like, nobody told me. Like,
right? How would you
I
know?
had a boyfriend. Like we were intimate, but it was like never like that much of it. Like it wasn't a deal. And maybe we just both didn't really know better at the time. And so then it's like, well, since then it's been very different height. You're like, grooming down there. But it was like very eye-opening because I didn't know. And my mom was like very much a stickler. Like she like wouldn't let me shave my legs for a really long time. In high school, I had very dark arm hair that I always wanted to like shave or dye or do whatever because it made me feel very uncomfortable because I'm very dark haired. And and she was very much kind of like this mom and like didn't want me to do all the things. Yeah. But not that I ever asked her about like that region.
Well, of course not. But I think also like how you style your pubic hair is very generational. I don't even know what young kids are doing these days, but I do know that your mom has talked about this topic a little bit, and it was definitely not a thing for her generation at all.
To do what?
Like her generation was like you trim, you keep it kept, but you don't shave. Yes. I recall a conversation where she was like, I tried out the young thing shaving it. And she was like, oh my God, I itch so bad. I'm never doing that again.
Well, and like,
which I understand. Our generation very much went the American Pie route.
Yes.
Well, and I do think that, very personal choice. I think that this parent handled it very well, being like, it's a personal choice.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But don't you think, like, I think about my girls. Mm-hmm. So again, TMI about Sarah, like I've had laser. So like I don't get much hair at all anymore. And so my girls have never seen me with hair. And so like when that starts happening for them, because it's going to happen for them.
Right.
Like it's going to be an interesting situation, right?
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit, but not a lot.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Very interesting.
So my mom was like your mom, where I remember, and here's also the thing with this story. Mine was shaving my legs, not my pubic hair. But I asked my mom probably at a younger age than what she was. Well, I know it was a younger age than she was comfortable with. Hey, Mom, the girls are shaving their legs at school. Can you teach me how to shave my legs? I want to shave my legs. And she said, no, you're too young. So you know what I did? I went down to my cousin Jessica and I said, Jessica, will you teach me how to shave my legs? And she sure as hell did.
Yeah.
And so my mom kind of missed out then on that experience of like, yep, let me show you how to do this. And perhaps not the most reliable person in the world then showed me how.
Hindsight.
Yeah, hindsight. Showed me how to shave my legs, which brings me to a very interesting quote by a Dr. Emily King about all things puberty, sex ed, parenting, because you know how I like to bring it back to my research.
Let's do it.
Today, if parents don't take the lead on this, then friends, romantic partners, and Google will be their informants. And Google does not know your child. I don't know. That quote just kind of hit me.
Or it's going to be AI.
Hard. Right. It's going to be... It's going to be something where they don't know like how mature your kid is, what their background is, how to approach it in the best manner.
Well, and think about if you went and Googled like what should my pubic hair look like? You know, just think of what you could end up with and the pictures you could see and like the rabbit hole that wouldn't be safe that you could go down. Like that could be scary.
If you just shut down your kid, they still have the question. You just told them you're not a safe source to come through. All right. Now, Matt, you brought up something else also as we were discussing this topic. It was a little bit about, it somehow revolved around like, or maybe it was just this story in general gave me this vibe where they were talking about, oh, he's too young to talk about this thing. It's modern parenting, blah, blah, blah. Kind of insinuating like they, you know, growing up too fast. I think that there's a really common belief that if you talk about it, especially if you talk about it too young, then kids are going to be more promiscuous. They're going to have more sex. They're going to get into more trouble if we are talking about it because we've opened now, because I also in that conversation, I asked her, do you know what a period is? She said, yes. I asked her, do you know what sex is? And she said, no. And it was a very authentic response. I was very happy to be the first person to tell her what it is.
Ditto.
And have it not be her friends telling her. Also in that conversation, because you did this with your girls too, we made it clear you don't talk about this with your friends. This is a mommy-daughter conversation. This is a parent-child conversation. You don't want to give any of your friends false information, basically.
Yep.
So, okay.
So what's the science behind that?
I build up all these things, but this is the Mayo Clinic, right?
Let's hear it.
This is the Mayo Clinic. This is a quote from Dr. Chatta. There's a lot of research on early sexual health education, delayed education, and no education. Children who are well equipped with information at an early age showed no higher rate of sexual promiscuity compared to those who had this knowledge later or were completely oblivious. We often think talking about it will encourage it. However, talking about it and laying information out in a factual, scientific manner and explaining the consequences may deter a teenager from getting into a risky situation that may lead to a sexually transmitted infection or one unwanted pregnancy. Taking the no education approach, a child could become sexually active, unknowingly contract an STI, and this may affect their fertility later on. It's a big consequence. There's many consequences to that.
So many.
So, I mean, the biggest takeaway that I had to that is the reassurance that if you're having these conversations in age-appropriate, anatomical, scientific ways, there's no increased risk. And actually, I've heard studies that show that it delays the onset of sexual activity.
Well, I think because you take the like mystery out of it, you take the unknown out of it. Like, I think it's similar with a lot of things. I think it's similar with swearing. I think it's similar with alcohol use. I think it's similar with a lot of things that kids think about doing or want to do. Or if you make them untouchable, that gives them more of that curiosity than if you have like open and honest conversations with them and don't make it something that's so untouchable or so taboo. Like they're more likely to view it in a positive way or a way that's not going to hinder or make it dangerous for them in the future. That's my opinion. That's how we've always been with the girls.
Yeah, I agree.
On to the next story.
Agreement in parenting. Look
yeah,
at that.
I was going to comment earlier. I I didn't have anybody to like teach me how to shave or do any of those things. I just did it.
You didn't even have the internet to show you.
You didn't.
No Google.
You
You
turned
probably
out
had some
okay.
razor burn. You probably like learned a lot by experience.
Yeah.
That
Cuts.
sounds uncomfortable.
Ouch. Yeah.
Well, he was trying to make it nice for those girls that he thought. Sorry. Wah, wah.
A little teenage Matt. Oh, so cute.
Oh.
We have maybe 2 left.
All right.
Okay,
If we can do them
Let's
all.
do it.
I don't know.
Let's go.
let's do it.
Okay. Am I the asshole for calling my daughter unhygienic in front of her friends? Initial takes?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, if you did it in a mean way.
Yes.
In front of her friends. How's that
I mean,
not mean?
I don't know how that wouldn't be mean.
I don't know. Yeah. Yes, you're the asshole. Like, do it in private, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll read all the
Let's read the
nuances
story.
of the story. Here we go. When my daughter was around 7 or 8, I wouldn't say she was unhygienic, but I would tell her to open her windows in the morning or pick up her pajamas.
7 or 8?
I know
That's young.
interesting.
I mean, maybe early puberty.
It happens.
Maybe.
But nothing really much. But when she was 10, she got her period and she was going through puberty, and I would explain to her how important it was to change her pad, to wear body spray, bathe every day, and other hygiene importance. But I don't think she took it as a major fact, and that would affect her classmates and teachers. I would at least get about 3 emails talking about my daughter's hygiene and her body odor wasn't good, especially since she played sports a lot.
Oh, no.
I would constantly have talks with her, but she wouldn't listen. It came to a point where her stepfather gave up on explaining to her about her hygiene and how embarrassing it was to get those emails. Her younger sister couldn't even stand how messy she was because they were sharing a bedroom and her body odor was like her biggest problem.
Oh, no.
Fast forward to now.
Uh-oh.
She turned 16 a few days ago, and she was also invited to her friend's birthday party. The same day she was going was the same day I was expecting to see my long-distance friend. I asked her if she could please keep her room clean and fresh. My friend comes over with her 1-year-old daughter already asleep, and I told her to put her in my daughter's room.
Whoa.
And a few minutes later, she comes back holding her daughter. I asked what was the problem, and she told me that the room smelled a little bad, and there was underwear and pad wrappings everywhere.
Oh.
I was in disbelief, and I quickly hurried to her room, and it was a mess. I was fuming. I could not believe that a 16-year-old girl couldn't be a clean lady for once and take care of herself.
Ooh, okay.
I called her, and once she answered, I immediately screamed at her, calling her unhygienic and embarrassing and selfish. And she didn't say anything and just hung up. She comes back and she was crying and saying that I messed her day and I embarrassed her in front of a group of people. It turns out that she put me on speakerphone for some game that they were playing. We haven't spoken for a week now, and I'm starting to feel guilty. But my husband also says that I've been soft on her. Am I the asshole?
Oof.
Oh, this is a mom.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
There is an edit. I see that a lot of people are concerned for my daughter that they might think she has a medical condition. No, she does not. My daughter is fully aware that she has a very strong body odor since she plays sports. I also see people asking me why I never addressed the situation and left it alone for years. In the text, I do state that I would constantly have talks with her, including my husband. My daughter is mature enough to know that her body odor is a problem.
Oof. I feel like this is a hard one. If that's not the most Minnesotan thing to say. Oof.
Oofta.
Oofta. Wow. Okay. So let me think. I mean, hygiene is important. My little girls are 9, and I definitely have one that can be a little bit more stinky than the other one.
Mm-hmm.
I did buy them deodorant
Mm-hmm.
to wear. They don't really wear it. They don't really want to do it. But we've talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
We shower really regularly because of swimming.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that helps.
It's hard because you don't want to shame anybody, right? So this
Yep.
is part of puberty. This is part of what she's going through. But also, like, it's still your house. And if she's making her room messy and stinky and has pads everywhere, and I'm like, are there actually like bloody pads that are dirty and sitting? Like, you can only imagine as a woman being like, ooh, I know that smell. Like, I can smell that smell. You mention it and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, how could you live in that? And so, yeah, I have a hard time. I don't know if I can give a solid, you are the asshole or not an asshole. I think there's some.
Okay, we'll talk about it. We can talk about it more. We can work through it, and then we'll see if you have an opinion at the end. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hard one. She didn't know she was on speakerphone either.
It wasn't intentional. So I don't think you're truly the asshole. It sucks the way that it went down. And being that you haven't talked for a week, I think that you need to make that up and do some apologizing, make things right, and just talk again, maybe about the importance of this is how you smell. These are things that, like, you're going through puberty, blah, 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 you're playing sports. Some things need to, like, change. We need to come up with a more hygienic approach to how you're living because, you know,
it's important.
It's important.
It's important.
It's important.
Hygiene is important. Our hygiene episode was our most popular episode of this podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. Hygiene applies to everybody.
It does.
Is important.
It is important. Well, it's surprising that if she smells that bad, that, like, she keeps talking about her friends. Like, you would think, like, at least in my high school, if you smelled bad,
people would
get
let you know.
Totally picked on, bullied, whatever. Like, yeah. So it's surprising that she's
not getting it from
That's
her
why I
peers.
think, like, why isn't she like taking better care? Because I can recall back, it took like one time for somebody to be like, you have some bad BO. You need to, like, and I did. I forgot to put deodorant on, and it was not great.
Yeah. I remember in elementary school, after a really hard gym class, like, putting my hands under my arms and, like, smelling them and being like, oh my God, that smells so bad. And the fact that that's like a core memory that I remember. And I had to have been in, like, 3rd or 4th grade. I mean,
it happens, but it's really not super socially acceptable because there's things that you can do to mitigate that. Deodorants, showers, etc. It sounds like she isn't doing the things to mitigate it, and she's, you know, just kind of living her life. So I kind of think that there are more things that the mom could have done because it seems like, yep, they've talked about it a lot. But to me, it feels like, okay, she's nagged her a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody likes that. In one ear, out the other. Have there been any sort of consequences? And not that you want to, like, totally make it consequences, but it's an important thing. Like, you need to make it an important thing in order for your child to believe you that it's an important thing. Because she still is a minor living under your roof. Nope, you can't, like, physically, like, at 16, make her, you're not going to throw her in the shower and force her to do it, right? But especially leading up to this point in time, I feel like there could have been more serious sit down, or even like when she's younger, this has been going on since she's 11. Okay, hey, listen, we really need you to shower every single night. This is how we're going to make it accessible to you, easier for you. What don't you like about showering? Do I need to bring you to Bath and Body Works?
Yes.
Do I need to, like, help you pick out some really yummy smelling soaps? Do you need a variety of soaps? Do you need some fancy hair conditioner or some fancy skin products, right? Like, we can scrounge together. We can figure it out to make it happen as long as you're going to use it, because it's really important that you use it. Also, she asked her to clean her room before her friend came over, right? Mom knows that she has a messy room kind of chronically, right? She lives in the same house.
Which was my question. Why didn't mom just use mom's bedroom?
Yeah.
Right. Well, or not even that. Why
Check it before she went out.
Right. Why didn't she check it? Hey, you need to have I'm having a friend over. Okay. I need you to have your room cleaned before you leave the house. If your room is not clean, you're not allowed to leave the house. We need to have you clean it. Before I had friends over when I was younger, my mom would say, yeah, for sure, your friends can come over, but you need to clean your room before your friends come over. I had a messy room too.
Yep.
Not in the way that like kids do, right?
Yep.
We are not, I don't think it's very common where kids are prone to have super neat, tidy, orderly areas. I think kids are prone to chaos, or at least my kids are.
Yes, absolutely.
The stuffed animals are everywhere in their bedrooms, right?
Everywhere.
So they got to be taught like how to put it away or incentivized a little bit on how to make it happen. So I think that there were other avenues that this mom probably could have gone in order to get this hygiene a little bit more under control that's like working with her versus just hygiene is important. You stink, you stink, you stink. Hygiene is important. Go shower. You need a shower. You're not showering.
I think you hit one of the ideas that I was going to bring up too. Is like there's so many products out there, whether it's for your period or for your body odor. There's lotions, there's sprays, there's roll-ons, there's gels, there's clear, there's not clear, there's whole body deodorant, there's pads, there's Diva cups, there's tampons, there's IUDs, there's Nexplans. There's like so many options out there. Like maybe, right. Maybe someone just hasn't found, or she hasn't found like what works well for her, what makes her comfortable. And so, yeah, I think that mom missed that point or missed that mark to be able to like really try to work with her daughter on that. Matt?
What's a disc?
It's like a diaphragm, but like they use it to catch menstrual blood. You insert it vaginally.
So it has like more of like a rubbery ring, and then it has like almost like a plasticky part. So that catches the menstrual blood, right? And it actually apparently self-empties when you pee, and they advertise it for, non-messy sex. You can have sex with it, and because it's so malleable. Whereas the Diva cup is more of like a rubbery kind of cup that suctions up to the cervix. And so then you have to like release it from the cervix to take it out, but it catches the blood in the same way so that you just like empty it into the toilet and then you boil it to sanitize it in between periods.
Got it. I knew what the cup was. They taught us about that in school, but
I don't think it was existed.
I was gonna say, I don't think that was really a thing
when
back
we
then.
were-
A diaphragm was. So
But
that
that
looks
was-
like a diaphragm. That's more like for like pregnancy prevention.
Exactly.
yeah.
Which is different than what they're using it for
But yeah, the
nowadays.
disc, you guys keep saying disc. I'm like, like kind of like a CD up in there that
No, not a CD. No.
Ouch.
well, not a
It's-
hard
that's
one.
just- that's
I
just the
got
name of it.
But like this shape.
Yeah.
All right.
The
You
shape.
guys want to
got
know
that.
top comment?
Yes. What did other people think? Because I thought that was kind of a hard one initially to think through.
Right. Okay. And what is we were going to come back to you though.
I
Are they
know.
the asshole or not?
I don't think she's the asshole, but I think she went about it in a poor way.
Okay. So top comment is actually looking for info. What have you really done to address her hygiene?
Right. See, that's where we went.
Most likely there's a reason why she's not being hygienic. My sister-in-law wouldn't take showers for very long stretches of time because of her bipolar depression. She didn't care about being clean at all. She didn't start taking proper care of her hygiene until she finally got on the right medication that worked for her.
That's taking it to a really extreme bipolar, but I think she maybe has a comment, or the poster maybe has a bit of a point that maybe something more is going on and you need to have a conversation.
Right. Personally, this is another comment. Personally, I struggle to shower because of an allergy to water, which makes my skin incredibly itchy for many hours afterwards. Antihistamines
What?
helped once
I don't know.
I
don't
knew
know.
this wasn't just a normal part of the human experience.
I once had
They're
patients.
wrong, right?
I once had patients that thought they were allergic to the fluoride
It's like
in water. I don't
The
know.
heat.
You can
It's
have
the heat with
allergies,
the shower.
Yeah.
Typically.
But water itself.
I mean, your body is like 90% made up of water.
Thank you.
So I don't know about
All right.
that. I don't know.
Just
I
wondering.
feel like I need more info.
Also needing more info. Why have you let it go this long? Oh, gosh, I feel like the people
But she
are
did say,
reading.
I mean, she did say that in the post that she's brought it up numerous times.
Yes.
Maybe not in the best way,
Yes,
but she has.
she's brought it up, yes. But they want to say, what did you hope to accomplish by shaming your daughter instead of stepping in at any point, like stepping in, taking action?
She didn't mean to do it in front of her friends, but I'd be pissed too if I said, hey, clean your room.
Yeah. I know both of us are like, brah. Yeah, I agree.
Nah.
Does anybody have like a clear cut, you're the asshole or you're not the asshole? Is everybody kind of wishy-washy like we are?
And why are the pad wrappers all over the floor?
That's gross. Like, pick up your fucking pads.
They're just wrappers though, right?
Well, we don't, like, what does that mean? Because technically, I saw this. Okay, so I saw this recently on Instagram. Because it must be a thing.
I don't like where this is going, but.
So, like, how you're, like, actually supposed to take a used pad and how you're actually supposed to roll it up into the wrapper of the new pad.
Yes.
I never did that as a kid. I just like rolled it up and like wrapped a little toilet paper around it and put it in the, little thing. But like that's
somehow I learned about that.
Yes. I did not know about that.
Oh.
And so, but yeah, so that makes me think like if she's got these wrappers, like is the pad in the wrapper, the used pad, or is it
all over the floor?
Else? Like what does that mean?
No.
Well, right. So I think that is a very big distinction that I need to know.
Is it just the wrapper or is the tampon
used
or the pad with it? Okay. Yes. Okay. Here's another comment. They have an opinion.
Oh.
You're her parent. You are the asshole. Haven't you taught her how to take care of herself? Mm-hmm. My mother helped me with my periods and taught me how to care for myself. You know this child isn't bathing. You live with her. You are an absent parent. Your daughter deserves better. So they had a very firm stance on this.
Could be.
Oof. I find that hard. I think as a parent, you can do everything right. And sometimes it doesn't go the way you want it to go.
I agree. But...
So I think that's
if you recognize that it's a problem, should you not be there? Hey, I'm taking a shower.
I agree. And I have one of my daughters doesn't like to take showers too, but 16, she takes them.
16, it's gone too long. By 16, you should have it. But yeah.
But she makes some comments about trying. I don't know. I guess I'm a little bit of an empath.
A lot of people though, you can just nag and talk and talk, right. But then, I can tell my kids, hey, it's time to go 5 million times. Mm-hmm. But until I take action and bring them to the door, put the shoes on their feet and bring them out the door, they're going to be doing whatever they want, right? Mm-hmm. Like sometimes you need action in addition to words. Here's the last comment I'm going to read about this one.
Okay.
Because you already brought up what they said. And why is she trying to put that baby in her daughter's room in the first place and not her own room? I'm wondering about this mom and her daughter's relationship. If you know your kid is messy and you're planning on having a baby stay in her room, wouldn't you look in the room first to see if your daughter, who never cleans, has actually cleaned instead of acting all surprised Pikachu face that she didn't?
Shocking.
I think the mom was embarrassed in front of her friend and called the daughter in front of her friend to save face. Also, calling your daughter a clean lady is weird and creepy. Stepford mom vibes.
Oh, that's funny.
Also, like screaming at your kid no matter how upset you are, not okay. You need to figure out your own feelings and your emotions before you figure out how you're going to actually make this a constructive moment.
And really on the phone, is that the place to have a conversation about something that's sensitive?
Right.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
We haven't gotten to that point where we're calling our kids, but we will. That's going to come sooner than we know.
Mm-hmm.
Next story.
Okay. Here we go. Okay. Am I the asshole, 26 female, for calling my boyfriend, 28 male, disgusting for knowing so much about his sister's periods? Boyfriend has read it, but I'm not completely sure if he's on the sub, so this is a throwaway account. Might be a bit confusing, but please bear with me. Me and my boyfriend have been together for a year. My boyfriend has been taking care of his siblings. 16 female, 12 female, 11 male.
Amazing.
He is 28, just to remind people.
Amazing.
He's been taking care of them since his oldest sister was born. When he was 18, he moved out of his parents' house and took them with him.
Wow.
He currently has custody over all of his siblings. He's a really hard worker, and I haven't seen him or his siblings struggle at all. They have all they need, and as far as I know, have never gone to bed hungry because of him. One of the reasons I fell in love with him is because of his caring nature, especially for his siblings. Not going to explain the whole dynamics as I know it, but when I say taking care, I mean he took care of them from buying food to helping with homework. He did it all. He was basically mom and dad for them, and he still finished school in the process. His youngest brother even calls him dad.
Oh.
His parents are the definition of deadbeats. Current situation with them is that they don't even know if their parents are alive, and they have no other family. These 4 are all that is left of the whole family. I slept over at his house last night. This morning, around 6 a.m., his sister, 12, female, came into the kitchen crying hysterically. She woke up with blood in her pants and freaked out. She started her period. My boyfriend got her to calm down and explain she's all right and everything is going to be okay. He then gave her a brief explanation of what is happening and that her body is changing. He asked her to go take a shower to get cleaned up and told her where to find the pads his other sister, 16 female, is using and to use them as the older sister showed her. When she left to go and take a shower, he said, "Shit, I thought we would have another year."
Oh.
I asked what he meant, and he said his sister, the 16-year-old, started her period when she was 13, and he knows not all females and bodies are the same, but he thought it would be around the same time. He was a bit unprepared for the discussion.
Makes sense.
Fair.
I was shocked with that comment and the fact that he knew his sister used pads. Why does he know when she started her period in the first place? Why does he know what she uses?
Because he's the parent.
I wanted to ask him why he knows this, but kept the question to myself. When his sister returned from her shower, he asked if everything was all right or if she's having any discomfort. I started to get disgusted when he asked that question.
Oh my gosh, I cannot. Who is this woman? And he needs to dump her tomorrow. Today.
He told her she doesn't have to go to school today, and he will take her for some shopping.
Well,
I think that sounds great.
I think the first day.
The first time, I already told Eloise, if you get your period at school, you go to the nurse. I'm going to pick you up, and we're going to go get a treat afterwards. I'm going to take you shopping or do something nice.
Yep.
I don't know.
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair too. Okay. That's why she thinks getting her period is going to be fun.
Maybe that's why I get to miss a day of school. Hell yeah.
Anyway, after breakfast, he sat her down in the living room and explained everything in detail to her regarding what is going on and what will happen with all of it. He said he helped the older sister with her first time and will help her as well. I know, I'm like getting teared up a little bit.
What an amazing man.
I know.
And this woman has a problem with this? I am sorry.
He finished with saying that her sister, 16, will be able to help her more with the type of products to use and how they work. That seems appropriate.
That seems very appropriate.
I was surprised, shocked, and disgusted about all the things he told her. He was correct in everything that he told her, but no brother should know that much about what is happening to his sister's body.
But he's not a brother. He is not a brother in this instance. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I would object to your outrage right there.
Really?
But you guys are going on about how men should just periods are periods and blah, blah, blah. What does it matter if he's a brother or a dad or a caregiver? Or
you're saying, okay.
Oh, because we're saying that he's a parent in this situation.
Well, he is a parent in this situation, but
yeah, even if he was
too,
just the brother, it still would be okay.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Is what you're saying.
I agree too.
Yeah.
I agree
also
too.
agree.
I agree too.
Okay.
But she also has nowhere else to go. He is her safe place. Oh my goodness. Okay. Keep going. Sorry. I'm outraged.
Okay. Unfortunately, his oldest sister wasn't at home to help. She had a sleepover at a friend due to a project for school, so he took charge of explaining everything. He must have seen the disgust in my face and asked me what is wrong, and it just slipped out. I told him, "You are a disgusting pig."
This is not real.
Out. She needs to go. Go.
The words just kept coming out of my mouth and I couldn't stop talking. I told him exactly what I thought about the situation and that it's disgusting that he knows that much, especially about his own sisters, and is now trying to coach the younger sister on what to do. He just asked me to leave. He didn't argue. He didn't yell or anything. He just, actually it says, he didn't yell, nothing. Just said, leave my house.
I
What a
100%
guy.
agree that that's what he should have done.
I know I went about it in the wrong way, but my stance is the same, that no brother should know that much about his own sister's body function. Am I the asshole?
100%.
There are some edits after, but go ahead.
I mean, I think I said it. I think she is a fucking tool.
She's a see you next Tuesday.
Oh,
Matt.
You told me I couldn't say it for real,
Yes,
so I
you
had
can't.
to like
Can't.
He
abbreviate.
doesn't in real life also. He's actually a very nice person.
You are a very nice person.
You don't say
use
it in
that
real
word.
person.
unless they deserve it.
Oof.
No, you do not.
Jokes, people, jokes. But yeah,
Gone. She needs to be
this
gone.
is bizarre. This,
I don't know. Is that a real story? You said it. Like, this can't be real, right? Nobody
I
can be
honestly-
this
I honestly
touch.
think that there are women out there who really, truly, honestly believe that, who would have her opinion, who'd be like, you're the brother. You shouldn't be so close. You shouldn't know about these things.
That's
like,
awful.
I think that it's a real thing. I think that there are people out there who absolutely have that opinion and don't think, like, for example, even that mom who was like, oh, you know, the modern parenting
Yeah.
of talking to your kids about normal body functions like puberty, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna just bring it back. It's just a period. It's just some blood. Like, meh.
It's a bodily function.
It's
What's the big
normal.
deal?
It's
What's the big deal?
normal.
It's not
It's
a big
normal.
deal.
I think he handled it excellent.
I think he did too.
an amazing job.
And
I think
to
he's a
your
saint.
point, he
Mhm.
is acting as a parental figure,
Yes.
and he is taking care of the parental duties.
Right.
If he was a single dad, he'd be
Right.
doing the same
Right.
thing.
Exactly.
So,
Right.
yeah.
I don't know.
This woman, sorry,
She's
she's
gotta-
got to go.
I don't even know how you could write this and like be able to actually look at this and feel like you were in the right.
If it is fake, which I'm leaning towards,
the grammar wasn't great in here, you guys. Like, I read it in the, you know, like
You fixed it.
I fixed it a little bit as I was reading it.
Does that make you think it's more real or
Yes.
less? Yeah.
go
Probably-
on. There's some edits.
probably
Let's hear
shouldn't
the
say that.
edits. Let's see.
Okay.
Right from the top of the edits.
Edit. If you don't believe me, that's fine, but don't comment. I was there. I said what I said. Don't know what I can say other than what I know to prove this is real. I just want to know if I am the asshole, if my stance is correct, if I should apologize for everything I said. Seeing some of the comments, I think you guys are not understanding my point. I don't want to sound mean, but he could have just called his sister to explain everything to her, or better, ask me to explain it to her. I would have been a lot better if it came from another girl. Yes, he explained everything correctly, and he even told her about the different products to use, but said the other sister will explain those better as she has experience in what actually works. Why didn't he ask me to explain anything to her? I
She's
would have
just
done
not-
it gladly.
She's just not comfortable with him being so comfortable with the vagina.
Right. I did think about this though, in her devil's advocate, right? So I did think about this as like from her point of view. I'm like, I wonder if she is trying to like step in and wanting to be more that like motherly role, like within their relationship. And I did think about the fact that like, did she want to play more of a role? And is that why she's upset that he took such a lead on it? I did think about that.
Okay. Well, don't you think that she could have asked or but to do
Or
that?
offered.
Or offered.
Mhm.
Or also, I think the whole thing is that his younger sister came to him.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't go to her like
The other
the
story.
one, the other story where the
Mhm.
daughter went to the girlfriend
Mhm.
and was like, and she told the girlfriend, I have my period.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she didn't have that trust in that relationship with this girlfriend. She
Mhm.
trusted her brother.
And I said, what, a year? I mean, that's not a long time.
I mean, maybe she really doesn't like this person.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, maybe that's the
she
last.
doesn't trust her.
Even if she's a woman, she's the last person she wants to talk to about her period.
Mhm.
Perhaps.
If there's no trust there, you can't, be confident to go to them.
Okay, so there's another update, but
Okay.
before I go to that update, to the comments.
Let's hear it.
What do the people say?
If this is real, you're the asshole. And
See, everybody has the same
huge
feeling.
one at that.
Mhm.
Gaping, actually. Your boyfriend has been mom and dad to them. Somebody has to help them, and it's clearly not his parents. He actually sounds like an incredible person taking on
Mhm.
responsibilities at such a young age that were never intended for him, and doing so in a gracious manner, trying to navigate waters he knows nothing about. Now, he probably knows a little bit about because he's
Right.
educated himself
He
and took the
has.
time to figure it out.
Took the initiative.
But again, you're the asshole.
Absolutely.
Saw your edit, and I felt that I must add, we all understand fine. You are saying it would have been a lot better, blah, blah. He has been the one to do it for all of the years.
Mm-hmm.
He's never handed the reins to anybody and has taken it on himself to care for all of his siblings.
Mm-hmm.
The weight on this man's shoulders, you can't even begin to understand.
Mm-hmm.
He took on the role of parent and was no longer a brother. That's what you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different script entirely.
Mhm.
Every single person here is saying, you are the asshole. Take accountability for being wrong.
Totally. That really summed it up very nicely.
Agreed.
Next comment. This has to be rage bait. And if it's not, I'm horrified. OP, you are the asshole. Everyone should know how periods work and be able to help a fellow human out.
Mhm.
It's neither wrong nor disgusting for him to know that his sister likes pads. Hell, he's probably buying them for her.
Mhm.
And knowing what age a period starts for a woman is important for their health history. And I guarantee that the first time with his older sister was even harder for him to help her, since he likely had no experience of having a period, so he would remember when it happened.
Mhm.
I can't stress how much you're wrong here, and you just messed up with one of the best guys I've ever heard about.
Yep.
Also, if he's close to his siblings, and I'm guessing you're not that close, why would his sister want you to explain? She trusts her brother with the sensitive time in her life.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
All right, guys, you want to hear the update?
I don't know.
There's an update.
I'm gonna rage.
Oh,
I think that
rage bait?
that post had totally hit it on the head.
Here's the
Rage.
update. First and last. To everyone saying he would leave me, you were right. He dumped me.
Yes.
I went to his house to apologize to him and his little sister. The 16-year-old was there as well. She slapped me and shouted at me, calling me vile names. I think she's making this up.
I think she's making it up.
She shouted at me for trying to break the family apart and trying to say that her father is a pedo.
A pedo or a pedo?
Pedo. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Now my ex got her to stop and sent her to her room along with the other siblings. I wanted to apologize, but before I could even start, he told me to keep my mouth shut and just listen. Sounds about right.
Sounds about right.
He forgave me before I even asked for forgiveness. Oh, gosh. You hold grudges for a reason. Anyway.
This sounds like a grudge-worthy situation.
But said he can't forgive is the fact that I basically turned his little sister against him and making her doubt his intentions.
Oh, I didn't get that
that's-
from the original
no.
post.
Kind of weird. It took him almost a full day to get her to talk to him, and she only talked to him after the 16-year-old assured her that he did nothing wrong and only wanted to help her like he had helped her. So I wonder if she went into the younger kid and she was like, this is inappropriate that your brother blah, 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 blah. And as a young, 11-year-old, you're like, what? Should I not have gone to my older brother?
Right.
I'm speculating
Right.
here.
Well, then maybe
Right.
the 16-year-old did slap her.
Maybe
I think
it's-
she should then.
maybe she
If this
kinda
is real
deserved
life.
it.
If it's real life.
I know.
This is bizarre.
It's bizarre.
But maybe.
Swear.
I mean,
She ends
sometimes
it-
bizarre things are it could be real.
She ends
Gotta
it by
love Reddit.
saying, I'm blocked everywhere and can't get a hold of him. I even
Good.
tried his sister's phone, but I'm also blocked there.
Good.
Sucks
I mean,
to
if
suck.
it's real, then that is exactly what that family needed to do. They did not need that toxicity in their life. Get rid of her.
Yes.
Period.
Boom.
Period.
On that note.
Thanks for listening to Midwest Married. We hope you learned something. We hope you were able to think back on when you got your period, because apparently 97% of our listeners are women. Those 3%, I hope you learned a little something as well, and will help your fellow human beings in their plights with menstrual cycles.
Yep.
Or that maybe you will educate your sons, encourage them to keep a sweatshirt in their locker just in case they need to help out, one of their friends in the next few years of their lives. I don't know. Matt, closing statements?
Oh, I was just going to say, have the conversation early.
Oh, yes.
It's
Have the
hard.
conversation.
It's awkward, but do it because you're going to feel so much lighter once you do.
Yes. Keep it age appropriate. Keep it medical. The younger
Anatomical.
they are, they're going to be less embarrassed. So
Yep.
you're going to be less embarrassed.
Yep.
The car is also a good tip. Do it in the car.
Open the door so you can keep the door open.
Yeah. They'll come to you instead of Google.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Or Uncle Matt.
Matt, there you go.
Here I am. Guys, please be sure to write in.
Yes.
Cop out.
Please follow, like, subscribe, especially subscribe on YouTube. And that's all we have for tonight. So thank you.
It was a fun
was
one.
Good puberty talk.
Yay.
It was fun.
Important.
Thanks for having me
Yeah.
back, guys. I enjoy it.
Glad
Have
you
a
were
great
here.
night.
Cheers.
Episode inspired by Sarah.
Yay.